We continue with your phone calls as well. And, boy, it's been a busy, busy day. Okay, so you got a Lions win over Miami, 32-21. Michigan over Michigan State, 21-7. You got Champ and Chump. So a lot to kick around today. So get them all in at 248-539-9797. Mark D'Antonio will meet with the media tomorrow to, I'm sure, get asked more about this stuff and preview Michigan State and Purdue. Jim Harbaugh spoke today. Wolverines got a bye. They got the Penn State game coming up a week after Saturday, 3:45 at the Big House. Interesting start time. Is this what we used to call 3:30? We'd say it's 3:30 kick when really it always started at 3:45 or 3:48 or 3:38.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. But anyway, not a night game. Jim Harbaugh today asked once again about the pregame, and here's his recap of what happened.
When you host a team, both teams, you share the field. I mean, each has a sideline. Each gets half of the field to warm up on, and that then Michigan State locked arms and used every inch of the field in their walk to with the attempt of going through or over our guys in a physical manner. So to call that unsportsmanlike or to call that Bush League is putting it mildly.
So there's his take. Mm-hmm. He was asked more about it, or he continued on and had more to say.
That could have been a real unfortunate incident, and as I said, it's the opposite of BS. I know Coach said that was BS, but that's not BS. That's fact, and I think it's something now the two athletic directors really need to get together and talk about. But I'll go one step further and use Coach D'Antonio's words from a few years back. It's not a product of the team, but their program. And again, that's using his words, but that could have been an unfortunate deal.
Well, so now Jim Harbaugh's getting back in the mix of the war of words with Mark D'Antonio.
What happened to last week? Remember last week?
All gone, man.
Last week was we could use a break, and
that's all gone.
It all went out the window.
Yeah, that's all out the window.
Okay, I made this comment earlier. First of all, there was some bumping. All right. Nothing got out of hand, really. There was some bumping. I think back to an era, or as a kid growing up in Ann Arbor, I remember hearing about Ohio State tearing down the Michigan banner. They came running out of the tunnel. Their coach, Woody Hayes, and Bo Schembechler, they were big rivals. Ohio State pours out of the tunnel and goes right to the banner in the middle of the field, and they try and tear it down. And I don't know. I think most Michigan fans, I might be wrong on this, look back at that with a degree of romance, and like it was kind of a days stuff that went by in the past. And it's when you think back, it's actually kind of cool that it's that way. And now feels like a modern day version of this somehow, some way. I just think that there's some truth in the athletic directors get together. Maybe the Big Ten steps in and says, all right, guys, we need to chill here a little bit because things shouldn't get out of control.
Yeah, there's no harm to what happened on Saturday. I mean, it was a pregame incident. Incident. I mean, what happened? Michigan State goes through their typical walkthrough. They go down. The Michigan players didn't want to back down. I don't blame the Michigan players for not backing down. I don't blame them at all. You're going to try to show how tough you are and stand up to it. That's fine. And the Michigan State was out there later than they should have been. Well, that's on them for not getting out there in a timely fashion. Is it on the Michigan players for not getting off the field? You could say that too. I don't care. It was harmless. Devin Bush afterwards kicking up his heels on the Spartan S and trying to tear up the turf there. Whatever. I mean, I don't doesn't bother me at all.
I wasn't a big fan of that, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think if the shoe had been on the other foot and it was the Spartans in the position of the Wolverines, I would have expected nothing less than the same.
You don't think they would have backed down? Joe Bocci
No,
would have
hell,
backed down.
yeah. You think Joe Bocci's going to back down, or Raekwon Williams would back down?
The one that I would have been afraid of what might have happened, Chris Fry. I think Chris Fry. I think of Chris Fry as like their emotional guy, like Devin Bush, like a really edgy player. But 248-539-9797, ticket text 97136. Let's get back to your open line calls. Usain in Dearborn. Hello, Usain.
Yeah, how's it going? I wanted to talk about the Lions' offense.
Yep.
I think even though they got the win, and you guys said a stat earlier that they scored on 7 of 8 possessions.
Yep.
I think the offense is still very predictable. Like, so 2 years ago, if you guys remember, the Broncos said that they knew the Lions' play calls before they even snapped the ball.
Jets said it this year.
The Jets said the same thing. And even versus the Dolphins, there wasn't any variability to the offense. You know, if LeGarrette Blount is in the game on a 2nd and short, we're going to run it. And then this week we used Amir Abdullah in the Theo Riddick role. We put him in a couple of times, and I pretty much knew it was going to be a screen pass. So I think,
except when it wasn't,
the next evolution of the Lions' offense is the hard play action. And the way they use, say, Carson Wentz is used, or Russell Wilson. I think Stafford has that same athleticism. So if they let him get wide on the hard play action, that's when the offense will really open up, and the defenses won't know what to do. Versus the Cowboys, there was the first drive, they ran it 3 straight times with Kerryon Johnson, and they got and it was first down, and we thought another run was coming. And what they do, they did a hard bootleg, and they got Stafford wide, and then ended up being a 50-yard touchdown to Kenny Galladay. So I think that's what Jim Bob Cooter needs to do next, to let Stafford use his athleticism and let him get wide. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would disagree in that Stafford's as athletic as Russell Wilson or as athletic as the quarterback for the Eagles, Carson Wentz. I don't think that's true. Do I think Stafford's athletic? Yeah, I think he's more athletic than people give him credit for, and I think the way that he has maneuvered himself in the pocket over the last couple of years speaks to that. He's improved his footwork, and he's able to find a way to buy an extra second to get rid of the football, and he's done a great job of it this year, and he hasn't been sacked that much. But when it comes to predictability of the offense, I think everybody thinks that of every team that they see,
that they follow,
if it's their team. The fact is Matthew Stafford completed 18 out of 22 of his passes. The fact is the Lions ran the ball 35 times for 248 yards. So are there some instances or some down a distance situations that would be more predictable than others? Yeah, if it's a short yardage situation and LeGarrette Blount's in the game, I'm expecting him to get the ball because that's why you got LeGarrette Blount.
Let me ask you a question, Hussein. How many snaps do you think Amir Abdullah was on the field for?
I think 2.
And how many screen passes did they throw to him?
They threw 1, and I think they handed it off to him one time.
He was on the field for 7 snaps.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah. It's not quite as predictable as people think. Additionally, when you're scoring on 7 out of 8 possessions, something you're doing is working. You know what Jim Bob Cooter doesn't do? Have a 100% great game plan when it comes to calling plays. You know who else doesn't? Any offensive coordinator ever. I wonder in an offensive coordinator's mind, how many good plays they call in a game and how many bad plays they call in a game. When they think they've had a good game, what do you think their percentage of good to bad is? 7 out of 10 good play calls? Is it 8 out of 10? Is it 65%? What is it? You know what I mean? Because nobody's 100%. Good offensive coordinators make bad play calls. Jim Bob Cooter had a really good day yesterday.
Had a great day. 10 yards per attempt passing the ball, 7 yards per attempt running the ball. That's a great day.
Yeah.
That's a great day. But, I mean, like watching a game, I think the problem is that we see a game last night where Kansas City is just on a different planet right now with what they do offensively. You watch Kansas City and you have to say, how on earth do you stop them? How did they lose? How did the Patriots beat that team?
Because the Patriots were equally unstoppable. They really were.
But they did actually stop Kansas City a couple drives. I think they were limited. I think Kansas City like 30 points in the game. But I watch right now, and Patrick Mahomes looks like he's an alien. Honestly, the throws he's able to make.
I like Kang's description. He's a quarterback from the future.
He is. I'm like, who is this guy? Where the hell was this guy? This is what we're seeing? He's unstoppable. And that offense that they run there is unstoppable. Now they have different personnel as well. But I'm not going to take any credit away from Jim Bob Cooter. I'm going to give him plenty of credit for what happened in the game yesterday. I thought that was brilliant by what the Lions were able to do offensively.
Let's go to Cliff in Detroit. Hi, Cliff.
Hi.
Hey.
First of all, my champ of the weekend is the NFL because they finally achieved parity. The Detroit Lions are now able to be competitive against every team in the NFL, with the exception of the Golden State Warriors of the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I must have had a brain freeze when I didn't think about making Rondo the loser. It would be a crime against humanity if he was not the loser of the weekend. And as well as the Lions played, I may have been wrong. I called in earlier, and I was totally against the Patricia move. However, I must admit, I called in earlier and said that the only improvement I saw was the offensive line play and opening of holes when everybody was panicking. But not to be lost in yesterday's victory. One of my favorite Lions, Abdullah. Let's not forget he had one carry yesterday for 1 yard.
They also caught a pass and went 12 yards with it, too.
Yeah. You guys have a great day, and go Leos.
Thank you, Cliff.
I just looked ahead at the NFL schedule.
Yeah.
The Sunday before Thanksgiving is the 19th of November.
Yep.
The Rams play at home against the Chiefs.
I'll take the over.